Well, this is Cliff Brockman, a retired professor from Wartburg College, and I'm speaking with Bruce Aune, the main anchor at KCRG, who is retiring after more than 50 years as a broadcast journalist, and the last 34 at KCRG in Cedar Rapids. Bruce, thanks for talking with me today.
So it's great to be here, Cliff. Good to hear from you.
Yeah, thanks. Same here. Well, I wanted to ask you first, you've been a broadcast journalist for a long time, as I just said, and a lot of times a broadcast journalist will get out of the business and get into public relations or something similar, but you've stayed in journalism for all these years, broadcast journalism. Why have you stayed doing that?
Well, first of all, I enjoy the work. That's probably number one, but also it's been a very good living for me. I know that often when people are starting out in broadcast journalism, it can be low paying. In fact, it was for me when I started. My first job was $1 an hour a long time ago. But as I've progressed, I've been able to make a good living and a comfortable living. So I just have really, really enjoyed it. I just the aspect of being in touch with what's going on in the community and in the state and even beyond that in our country, and having the ability to discern what we think is of value to our viewers and everything gives me a responsibility that I really treasure, but also that I've just enjoyed having.
Why did you decide to retire now? Is there any special reason?
I hit 70 last September. Sorry, I can't even get my dates right. Last July, and it was a point where I had just decided that I needed to spend more time with my wife, and we're going to do a lot more traveling and things. So, and I maxed out my Social Security, so it was time.
You've covered a lot of events over the years, of course. One of the biggest ones I've got to assume is the flood of 2008. What was it like to cover that? How did you cover that? That was
quite an experience because we cover so many disasters that happen elsewhere. And just less than a month before that, we had the devastating tornado that hit Parkersburg. And that was a huge, huge story here in eastern Iowa. And then to suddenly have this devastating flood was just beyond our belief. But it was a situation where the Cedar River and Cedar Rapids just kept rising, and it just kept raining. And the Thursday before the crest, I came in the morning and started working with our morning anchor at the time, Ashley Hinson, and ended up, I think I was on the air till about 1 o'clock the next morning. Beth Malicki, my co-anchor, came in the afternoon, and it just continued on for 4 days where we were putting in these long, long hours, and we lost electricity in our building, and we're running on a generator, and we were in the mandatory evacuation area in Cedar Rapids as well, so we had to get through security checkpoints with the National Guard even to get to our station. But we, again, felt that there was a real responsibility for us to really get the information out to people on what exactly was happening. If you don't have a source for that, people are really left in the dark. And when you've got thousands and thousands of people like this forced out of their homes, not just in Cedar Rapids, but in many of the communities here in eastern Iowa, it was a time for us to really just shift into that higher gear and take off the necktie, throw it in the corner, and get to work. It's one of those things in journalism that is really interesting, where we we do shift into a higher gear when something like this happens. And a lot of people might think it's kind of strange to hear us say that it's almost fun. I don't want to say it's fun because of what's going on, but this is our job. This is what we're supposed to be doing. And we really, really take that next step and take it very seriously. And when you sit back at the end, it's just a wonderful feeling to go and say to yourself that we did a really good job. So that was a huge, huge story, yes.
Any other big stories that you covered over the years that stand out?
Oh, there have been quite a few. The shootings in Iowa City back in 1991 at the University of Iowa. That was really, I think, the beginning, kind of the turning point for KCRG-TV news coverage. We were seriously a bad number 3 in the market when I came in March of 1986, and it took several years for us to really kind of convince the viewing audience that we were serious and we're trying to take a different step forward and really become more dominant in the market. And we really put all of our resources into covering the shootings that happened at the university. The Chinese foreign student who opened fire on physics professors and another foreign student, a graduate student, and killed an administrator as well. And we gave it time. That's the one thing that people told me afterwards that they really appreciated, that we open-ended our newscasts and just kept going until we ran out of information, essentially. And that was a key point in KCRG's really becoming an important part of the news business here in Eastern Iowa. Of course, I've covered presidential races, presidential inaugurations in Washington, many stories overseas in the former Soviet Union and then Russia and China, Japan, even Guatemala. So a lot of fact gathering and information through the years, that's for sure.
All those years, any humorous anecdotes that you can remember?
Oh, man, there are a lot of them. Denny Frary, our old meteorologist, and I used to have so much fun. I remember one time I turned to him on the set I have no idea why, but you remember the old Mary Tyler Moore show?
Yes.
On CBS, and for some reason his name was Denny, and I just said, "Thank you, Murray," and he, without hesitating, said, "You're welcome, Lou." No hesitation at all. But one thing that always got me, it still puzzles me a little bit, is when people get my name wrong here in the market, they almost always call me Dave. And I've never really understood that, but I'll be in a parade or something and people are yelling from the side, hi, Bruce, and then all of a sudden there will be a, hi, Dave. So interesting little things like that.
Yeah, who knows where that came from.
Right.
What are your plans now that you're retiring?
My wife, Darcy, and I are planning to do a lot more traveling. We are going to Israel and Jordan coming up just about 6 weeks from now, and then a trip to Portugal next October. And we're planning to do a lot of as much mission work as we can through our church and other organizations too. Darcy speaks Spanish, so we're hoping to get more into Spanish-speaking countries, and hopefully I'll pick up a little bit of the language as well. But our faith is very important to us, and we are going to make that kind of the center of my retirement adventure, I think. And it's going to keep us busy, plus a lot of volunteer work for different organizations here in the Cedar Rapids area too.
Any last things you'd like to say, Bruce?
I just want to point out how much I appreciate the loyalty of viewers here in Eastern Iowa, the friendship, the kind words that are coming in now with my retirement coming. It really is very humbling to find out the impact I, as a human being, have had on other people. I don't often think of that. I hate the term celebrity because I don't think of myself as a celebrity, but it is amazing when I discover how much what I've been doing for the last 34 years here in Eastern Iowa, how much that has meant to people. So I really, really appreciate that. It's been a wonderful, wonderful career. I've had opportunities to do things and see things and meet so many people that most other people never, ever have in their lives. So I really, really appreciate all of that. But it's been a great place to work. I used to think I wanted to get into a big market somewhere, But now I'm really happy that I stayed in this market and made this my home.
Well, Bruce, I've been talking with Bruce Aune, KCRG-TV, who's retiring after a very lengthy career in broadcast journalism, and especially at KCRG in Cedar Rapids. Bruce, thanks so much for speaking with me today.
It's been a pleasure, Cliff. Thank you.